Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you all for coming. Good afternoon. My name is Dan Triplett. I'm the founder of the Mississippi Gulf Coast 912 Project. Our website is citizenliberty.com. I'm a native-born American, a lifelong Mississippian, a businessman, husband, and a father. I started the local chapter of the 912 Project out of a sense of frustration. For many years, I have felt that our government at all levels, but most especially the federal level, has lost touch with the American people and has drifted sharply off course from what the Founding Fathers intended for a government of the people to be. In the early months of 2009, I saw an opportunity to take a stand for what I believed was right for America when Glenn Beck announced the 912 Project, a movement based on certain principles and values that in many ways America has lost sight of, and that if restored, could go far for putting our country back on the path to the greatness that it was intended to be. A few of these bedrock principles that I believe have been lost in America are personal responsibility, honesty, and hard work. And of the values that I feel most of us share, but have been so weakened over time as to be virtually forgotten, is that America is good. That people should, at the very least, be honest and strive to be the most honest they can be. For if there is no honesty, especially among those in positions of leadership, then how can we ever know who we can trust? And most importantly, the principle that in America, the government works for me. I do not answer to them, they answer to me. In my opinion, every crisis that we face today was created by the government. They see it as their obligation to take advantage of these crises to grow government in order to take care of us. Contrary to what may be the popular opinion of the day, it is not the government's job to take care of us. As free people, we have a personal responsibility to take care of ourselves and help our fellow man with a hand up when times are tough, not with a hand out. It was personal responsibility and a desire to take advantage of the blessings of liberty that made this country great. But that sense of responsibility has been eroded for far too long and replaced by a sense of entitlement. Many in America today feel that they are somehow owed something that can only be given by the government after it has been taken away from someone else. This mindset is common in many other countries, and as we can see in the headlines today, is the reason why most countries, including our own, are on the brink of financial collapse. If our nation is to fulfill her promise, we must get back to the founding principles that made her the beacon of strength and freedom in the world. As a group, we are part of the Tea Party movement and proud of it. We are free-minded citizens who believe that we are taxed enough already and that reckless and irresponsible spending by our government will create future obligations so onerous that we and our children and grandchildren will bear the burden of paying off this debt through excessive and oppressive taxation. Most Americans today are feeling the pinch that these tough economic times have created and agree that the government should only spend that which they are constitutionally required to spend in order to fulfill their limited powers as set forth in the Constitution. Providing health care for every American, no matter how noble the concept may sound, is in no way an obligation of the federal government and can in no way be successful, especially if it is administered by a government who cannot even defend its borders or respond quickly to a national emergency such as this oil spill in the Gulf. America's current state of affairs is dire. Many in our organization feel that there is a need for drastic changes in the federal government and that these changes are necessary if we are to turn away from the downward spiral we find ourselves in. Incumbent professional politicians, many of whom have been in office longer than I have been alive, have lost touch with the American people and have forgotten who they serve. It is for this reason that we support Joe Tegerdine for Congress. Joe came from the Tea Party movement. Like the rest of us, Joe saw the direction that our country was heading and knew he needed to take a stand. Joe has children, so like many of us in the Tea Party movement, his decision is not based on personal ambition, but a sense of obligation to his posterity to pass along a strong nation whose promise of liberty and freedom must be preserved. For this reason, he has self-limited his service to no more than 4 terms. He believes that the Constitution is the bedrock foundation of a nation of laws, and that it is our Constitution that has set our nation apart in history and has made America great. For this reason, he has pledged not to vote for any proposed legislation that cannot be found to be justified under the Constitution. Joe believes that service to the people is an honor, and that it is just that, a service. Hence, he has pledged that he would not accept the gold-plated retirement plan that our so-called public servants created for themselves, and that we, the people, have to pay for through our tax dollars. To me, these few things that I mentioned speak volumes about the man. But there is much more that can be said. Conversely, our current incumbent representative is a member of a party who has clearly lost its way, and he can no longer be depended upon to make responsible decisions on our behalf. In my opinion, 20 years as a representative is not service, it is self-serving. The latter years of Congressman Taylor's representation, along with recent votes and recent comments, have shown that he can no longer be trusted with the mantle of responsibility placed upon him by the people of South Mississippi. The time for change to responsible and accountable representation has come. We must turn our nation around and get back on the path that the Founding Fathers laid for us. I feel that the vast majority of our country believes, as we do, that the time has come for the silent majority to be silent no more. That the loud minority should no longer be able to dictate policy for the rest of us. That the leaders we chose to represent us be accountable to us. And that a government of the people, by the people, and for the people be restored forevermore and never again be allowed to sink into such a dismal state as to have the Founding Fathers rolling over in their graves. And that our brave veterans turning tears, wondering what happened to the country they so loved and fought so hard to defend. I feel that electing a principled man like Joe Tegerdine to Congress will start us down that path. With that said, this weekend on Saturday we're holding a rally at the Biloxi Town Green and a Memorial Day picnic to recognize those veterans in their service. The public is welcome. It starts at 10 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A bouncy castle for the kids. Joe's going to be there to meet and greet the public, and we ask that everybody come out and have a good time with us and meet our candidate. Thank you for your time.